This is Robert Kraft, and I'm your host on SNN.Network, and we're a proud media sponsor for the upcoming Precious Metals Summit Beaver Creek, which is being held virtually this year. Joining me right now is Tony Reda. He is the president and CEO of Tectonic Metals. It's a publicly traded company. I got two symbols for you: TECT on the TSX Venture and TETOF on the OTCQB. Tony, thank you for joining me today. How you doing?
I'm actually really good, thank you. And thanks for the opportunity to allow me to tell you a bit more about Tectonic Metals and having me exhibit at this wonderful conference.
I'm looking forward to it. And so let's dig right in. No pun intended. So I tell you, that was the first time I've made that pun, I promise. So let's start with a quick overview and history of Tectonic, and then we'll go from there.
Yes, we were incorporated in 2017. Tectonic was private for a few years. We launched into the public capital markets last year. Although we are relatively a new company, our team's been around for quite some time. A lot of the key executives behind Kaminak Gold Corporation, the discovery of the Coffee Gold project in 2010, the advancement of that project through feasibility, and dipping our toe in the permitting front. We were acquired by Goldcorp in 2016 for 520 million Canadian. We delineated 5 million ounces, raised 165 million. We were sort of working behind the scenes, and our timing to come into the public capital markets actually wasn't planned perfectly, but it's turned out that way given the recent bump in the gold price. So here we are, we're back at it again. We want to do it all over, this time a bit better even.
So what would you say makes Tectonic Metals, the company, and some of your projects unique and different compared to your peers out there?
Yeah, great question. I mean, there's no shortage of junior mining companies out there. When I invest, or even as a CEO, I ask myself, what am I going to do differently? You know, the definition of insanity, whether it comes to exploring a project or running a company, is doing the exact same thing and expecting a different outcome. So we're big picture kind of people. You know, we think with the end in mind. So what's our end game? Finding a mine. Well, let's reverse engineer that. Let's start right at where, you know, putting boots on the ground, exploration, growing organically. We look at all the risks associated with exploration and mining, and let's try to tackle those at the forefront. So the first thing we did differently is we built a company around a team. We didn't find the project first, we found the team. Secondly, well, let's actually have a business model to guide us. Let's have a plan. What a novel concept, eh? 3-year plan, 5-year plan, that's all laid out. My board holds me accountable. I hold my team accountable. The next thing we did is we targeted native owned land. We think that's a huge opportunity. We're operating in Alaska. We took that one step further, and we actually partnered up with a particular native corporation. We acquired 2 of their assets. We actually formed production agreements on these early stage assets. So production agreements is completely, it's not that common in our space. Even though these are early stage assets, we want to know where the goalposts are, and so do our partners. We took that one step further again and said, okay, let's actually make them shareholders in our company. So one of the largest shareholders in Tectonic Metals right now is one of Alaska's largest native regional corporations, one of the largest landholders in the state, and one of the largest private landholders in the entire United States. So these little things, we hope, will return back a huge return on investment, and we honestly believe it's the right way to do business.
What's your background? I mean, you mentioned a little bit earlier with being involved with Kaminak and whatnot, you know, but what led you to being in the mining industry and then eventually Tectonic?
Yeah, you know, growing up in school, going through school and growing up and in college, no one says, hey, look at the mining space as an opportunity. For better or for worse, I decided to invest in a junior mining company at the age of 21. I was at a bar of all places, and someone gave me a mining tip. This was 1995. And that was, you know, actually made money. So that was just enough to get me excited about the space. Bre-X followed, and I wrote off the entire space. And I didn't think too highly of the junior mining space, especially given what Bre-X, you know, how that all unfolded. So I wrote it off, but it still sort of ruminated in the back of my mind. And then in 2005, I was looking for a change. I had a business administration background from university. I started a few different retail and wholesale businesses with my father. They were quite successful, but none of them really sort of lit my fire. And in 2005, I joined a company called Kaminak Gold Corporation. I was the longest serving employee of that company. And the best thing about that experience, I mean, there was a few things, was just really, it was me, the CEO was the first hire, I was the second hire, our chief geologist was the third hire. And we just started building this company from scratch. And we had a great board, and I have to give credit to them for sort of guiding us along the way, but kind of had carte blanche to move accordingly. And we literally learned the names, the people, the institutions by Googling at times, like who's Eric Sprott, who's Rick Rule. And we started building relationships with these types of individuals. And that really was my university, where I cut my teeth. And I think as an investor who lost a lot of money, no surprise to probably a lot of investors in this space, I just really wanted to do something differently and do something better. I can't control Mother Nature, but what I can control is my behavior, my actions, and how I lead this company. So that's always at the forefront of my mind in everything I do. And, just deliver on your word and, be accountable.
So then from what you can tell us, what would you say are some of the company's value catalysts now for the rest of this year going into 2021?
Thank you. Yeah. So for us, how we anticipate closing off this year is we've launched 2 drill programs on 2 separate projects. So we're eagerly awaiting results from both those 2 campaigns. So there'll be a steady flow of drill results into the fall. We also anticipate acquiring a couple new properties that will sort of, bolster our portfolio. These are sort of district scale opportunities. And we'll be looking to strengthen our partnerships with our existing partners, but also trying to form new partners, monetizing these assets. So just because we're in a pandemic doesn't mean we all have to sit in a corner and hide. I'm continuing viewing this as an opportunity. Yes, these are tragic, sort of unprecedented times, but in the same breath, what's also unprecedented is gold's at $2,000. I mean, we did kiss that back in 2013, but exploration is really how this industry is going to grow, and I want to be at the forefront. So I'm constantly looking for new opportunities, new partnerships, and I'm hoping some of those endeavors will bear fruit in the coming months here.
And then with that, where can my audience go and find everything they need to know about Tectonic Metals?
Well, I encourage your audience, obviously taking the opportunity to meet with us firsthand at this conference. We have a book now with Tony thing on our website. It's www.tectonicmetals.com. Our email is info@tectonicmetals.com. You can reach out directly and book an appointment with me, but I think meeting the people is your best avenue. The website is probably, second best, or that's a good primer for you. And we also have on our website several webinars. I think we've done about 5 or 6 in the last 2 months. So those will get you up to speed very quickly here. And I encourage everyone to take the time to meet the management team. That's one of the best things about our industry. You can actually speak with the people that created the company and are actually operating it. So I think that's a huge advantage.
Tony, thank you so much for joining me today. I wish you guys the best of luck. Stay safe, and I look forward to our next update.
Right back at you. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, my name is Robert. Thank you again. My name is Robert Kraft. I'm your host on SNN.Network, and we're the proud media sponsor for the upcoming Precious Metal Summit Beaver Creek, being held virtually this year. Tony will be there presenting Tectonic Metals, and thank you all for listening today.